The skies above Earth darkened as they appeared, massive obsidian shapes blotting out the stars, materializing without warning or detectable approach. One moment. Deep space monitoring systems showed nothing unusual. The next, over 200 vessels of unprecedented size and design hung in perfect formation beyond lunar orbit. No radiation signatures, no propulsion emissions, no heat. They had simply... Captain Elena Marlowe stood frozen before the Situation Room's curved display wall, her coffee forgotten in her hand as the secure feed from orbital telescopes streamed in. 25 years in Earth's unified space fleet hadn't prepared her for this moment. No one was prepared. "How many?" she asked, her voice steady despite the hammering of her heart. 217 distinct vessels, confirmed, replied her XO. Lieutenant Commander Javier Santos. Largest approximately 12 kilometers in length, smallest about 700 meters. No response to standard greeting protocols or emergency channels. Around her, the command center of Earth Defense Coalition headquarters had erupted into controlled chaos. Analysts shouted updates across stations. Military liaisons from a dozen nations barked orders into secured comms. On auxiliary screens, news feeds showed panicked crowds gathering in major cities worldwide as civilian observatories captured grainy images of the visitors. "Weapons status?" Elena asked, though she already knew the futility of the question. "Unknown." "Captain," Santos replied, "we can't even identify their hull composition. Scans just bounce off." Elena's secured comm device vibrated. A message from the Coalition Security Council. "Emergency session convened. Your presence required immediately." She took one last look at the alien armada. If they wanted Earth destroyed, it would already be over. Whatever their purpose, they were waiting for something. The council chamber had never seemed so small or so divided. Representatives from all major Earth powers sat in tense clusters, separated as much by ideology as by the physical arrangement of the room. Elena took her position at the military briefing station, keenly aware that humanity's fractured leadership might prove more dangerous than the visitors themselves. "They've made no hostile moves," insisted Director Nakamura of the Pacific Alliance, her typically composed demeanor now showing the strain of sleepless hours. "We must attempt communication before considering any military response." "And if communication fails?" General Volkov of the Eurasian Confederation countered, his fist striking the polished table. "We sit defenseless while they position for attack? The Prometheus weapons platform could deploy." "Absolutely not," cut in Dr. Rajiv Patel, unexpectedly rising from his observer's seat. The astrophysicist wasn't meant to speak during security deliberations, but protocols seemed irrelevant now. "We know nothing about their capabilities. Prometheus might as well be throwing stones at gods." Elena studied Rajiv. Brilliant, philosophical, perpetually disheveled in appearance despite his prestigious position heading the Coalition's Xenological Research Division. His presence here was unusual. The military rarely consulted scientists before deciding whether to shoot. "Dr. Patel," she acknowledged with a slight nod. "You have insight on our visitors." Rajiv ran fingers through his salt and pepper hair, a nervous habit that had only worsened since the fleet's appearance. "Only that they represent technology far beyond our own. Their arrival defies everything we understand about physics. No light speed delay, no detectable wormhole formation. They simply transitioned from elsewhere to here." "Gods or not," General Volkov growled, "we have a duty to protect Earth." President Adeyemi of the African Union, who had been listening silently, finally spoke. "Captain Marlowe, you command our most advanced vessels. What is your assessment?" Elena felt the weight of every gaze in the room. If they intended immediate hostilities, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That said, their positioning suggests strategic thinking. They've established control of all primary orbital approaches to Earth. "You're saying they've boxed us in," Volkov concluded grimly. I'm saying they're being careful, Elena corrected. As should we be. Security Council Chair Santiago cleared his throat. We've received reports that the Chinese independent fleet has moved 3 cruisers to high orbit without coalition authorization. The room erupted into angry voices. Elena closed her eyes briefly. Humanity, confronted with the greatest moment in its history, was reverting to tribal instincts. Let me take the Demeter, she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. 1 ship, minimal weapons profile. We'll establish closer observation and attempt direct contact. Too risky, objected Nakamura. More risky than waiting for 200 alien vessels to make the next move? Or for some trigger-happy admiral to start an interstellar war? Elena countered. The Demeter has our best communication arrays and sensor packages. If anyone can establish contact, it's her crew. Chair Santiago studied her for a long moment before nodding slowly. Approved. But Captain, no heroics. Observe, record, and attempt basic communication only. The first sign of hostility, you withdraw immediately. Elena caught Rajiv's eye across the chamber. The scientist gave her a barely perceptible nod. One more thing, Elena added. I want Dr. Patel on board. Dr. Rajiv Patel had never much liked space travel. The Demeter's acceleration pressed him uncomfortably into his seat as Earth fell away beneath them. Through the viewport, he watched his home planet shrink, a fragile blue marble now dwarfed by the looming shadow of the alien fleet. Nervous? Doctor? Asked Captain Marlowe, her voice startling him from his contemplation. Terrified, he admitted with a small smile. Though not of space travel. For once, Elena unstrapped from her command chair and floated effortlessly to the viewport beside him. Up close. Rajiv noted the fine lines at the corners of her eyes, evidence of a career spent making impossible decisions under pressure. Her short-cropped dark hair was flecked with premature gray, yet she moved with the confidence of someone far younger. You didn't have to come, she said. The council would have accepted a remote consultation. I did have to come, he countered, 20 years studying the theoretical possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence. And now they arrive. How could I not? A comfortable silence fell between them as the Demeter continued its approach. Elena had known Rajiv for nearly a decade. They'd met during the Mars colony crisis when a dust storm had nearly wiped out humanity's first permanent settlement beyond Earth. His unique blend of scientific precision and philosophical insight had helped navigate that disaster. She hoped it would prove equally valuable now. What do you think they want? She finally asked, the question that had consumed humanity since the fleet's appearance. Rajiv considered this carefully. Intelligence capable of such technology would have no need for our resources. Earth contains nothing unique in the universe except us, Elena finished. Yes, so they're either curious about us specifically, or, Rajiv's expression darkened, or they consider us a potential threat to something larger. The comm system interrupted with Lieutenant Santos's voice. Captain, we're reaching observation distance. You'll want to see this. The main bridge of the Demeter hummed with tension as Elena and Rajiv entered. On the primary display, the alien vessels hung like obsidian sculptures against the star field. Up close, their design became more apparent, asymmetrical structures flowing organically, yet with precise geometric patterns etched across their surfaces, no visible propulsion systems, weapons ports, or even windows. Just seamless black material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Are we broadcasting the greeting package? Elena asked, taking her position at the command station. On all frequencies. Captain, confirmed Communications Officer Park. No response yet. Rajiv moved to the science station, where Lieutenant Commander Nazari made room for him to access the sensor readings. These patterns on their hulls, he murmured. They're not random. There's mathematical consistency here. New development. Captain, Santos reported suddenly. One of the smaller vessels is breaking formation. Elena tensed. Heading? directly toward us, but at very low velocity. Non-aggressive approach vector. Maintain position, Elena ordered. No defensive measures unless I give the word. The alien vessel, approximately twice the size of the Demeter, glided toward them with graceful precision. As it drew closer, a section of its hull began to transform, the seemingly solid material rippling like water before resolving into a transparent viewport. And there, framed in the opening, was their first glimpse of alien life. The being stood at least 7 feet tall, with a slender torso supported by 3 jointed limbs. Its skin shifted iridescently, like oil on water, where a human would have a face. This creature possessed a vertical arrangement of 4 small apertures surrounding a larger central opening. No eyes were visible, yet Elena felt certain they were being studied intently. "My God," breathed Rajiv beside her. "We're receiving a transmission," Park announced, her voice barely above a whisper. "Audio only." Elena nodded. "Let's hear it." The sound that filled the bridge defied easy description. Clicks and whistles layered with harmonic tones that seemed to vibrate through bone rather than air. It continued for precisely 30 seconds before cutting off. "Analysis?" Elena asked. Rajiv was already working with the ship's AI to process the signal. "Definitely structured, not random noise. The mathematical patterns match what we're seeing on their hull designs. I think it's language." "Can we respond?" "Not meaningfully. Not yet. But we can acknowledge receipt." Rajiv looked up at her. "Captain, if I may suggest, mathematics is the universal constant. We should respond with a simple sequence. Prime numbers, perhaps, or the value of pi." Elena nodded. "Do it." Park transmitted the sequence. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, suddenly, the alien vessel began broadcasting again, this time with a mathematical sequence that expanded upon what they had sent. "They understood," Rajiv said, his voice tinged with wonder. "They're building on our communication." Over the next several hours, this exchange continued. The alien vessel would send increasingly complex mathematical concepts, and the Demeter would respond with Earth's understanding of the same principles. Slowly, painstakingly, they began constructing a rudimentary shared language based on universal constants. "Captain," Rajiv said during a pause in the transmissions, "they're teaching us how to talk to them." Elena was about to respond when her secure comm device activated. The grim face of General Volkov appeared on the small screen. "Captain Marlowe, you are to withdraw immediately. The Security Council has authorized deployment of the Prometheus platform. You have 30 minutes to clear the engagement zone." Elena felt her blood run cold. "General, we've established preliminary communication. Hostile action now would—" "That is not your concern, Captain," Volkov interrupted. "The Chinese fleet has moved additional vessels into position without authorization. The Russians are threatening independent action. We cannot allow individual nations to make first contact on their own terms." "So instead we'll start an interstellar war?" Elena demanded, struggling to keep her voice level. "The decision is made. Withdraw your vessel immediately. That's an order." The transmission cut. Elena looked up to find her bridge crew watching her, their expressions a mixture of fear and uncertainty. Rajiv's face had gone pale. "They're going to attack, aren't they?" he asked quietly. Elena's mind raced. The Prometheus platform, Earth's most advanced weapons system, designed to deploy autonomous space-to-space missiles with experimental graviton warheads, theoretically capable of disrupting any known material or energy field, untested against unknown alien technology. "Lieutenant Santos, how long until the Prometheus platform achieves firing position?" Santos consulted his display. 28 minutes, Captain." "And how long would it take us to reach the main alien fleet at maximum acceleration?" 22 minutes. "But Captain, our orders." "I'm aware of our orders. Lieutenant, Elena turned to Rajiv. Doctor, if we're making progress with communication, is there any way to accelerate it? We need to make them understand the danger. Rajiv hesitated only briefly. We've been building a lexicon based on their responses. It's rudimentary, but yes, I believe we could transmit a warning. Elena made her decision. Set course for the main fleet. Maximum acceleration. Dr. Patel, craft your message. Make it clear and unambiguous. We need them to understand that some humans are about to do something very, very stupid. As the Demeter changed course, alarms blared from multiple stations. Captain, Santos called out, the alien vessel is matching our course and speed. On the display, the smaller alien ship maintained perfect position alongside them. The creature in the viewport remained visible, its posture unchanged. Are they pursuing us or escorting us? Elena wondered aloud. I believe, Rajiv said slowly, they may be protecting us. The main alien fleet grew rapidly on their screens as the Demeter approached at dangerous velocity. Elena knew she was risking everything, her career, possibly even the safety of her crew, but the alternative seemed unthinkable. Captain, Park called out, we're receiving new transmissions from the alien fleet, multiple sources, and I'm detecting energy buildups throughout their formation, added Nazari from the science station. They may be activating defensive systems. Broadcast Dr. Patel's warning message on all frequencies, Elena ordered. And hail the Coalition headquarters. I need to speak with the Security Council immediately. On the main screen, Chair Santiago's face appeared, his expression thunderous. Captain Marlowe, you are in direct violation of orders. Return to Earth orbit immediately. Sir, we've established preliminary communication with the aliens, Elena reported, fighting to keep her voice steady. They appear non-hostile and are attempting to establish a dialogue. The Prometheus strike would be a catastrophic error. That decision is not yours to make. Captain, with respect, sir, I'm the only human who's directly engaged with them. We need more time. Santiago's expression hardened. Time is precisely what we don't have. The Chinese fleet has broken formation and is moving to intercept the alien vessels. The Russians are threatening to deploy their own weapon systems. If we don't act now, we lose control of humanity's response entirely. Then let me try one more approach. Elena pleaded. Give me 15 minutes. If I can't demonstrate meaningful communication by then, I'll withdraw and you can proceed. Santiago looked off screen, presumably consulting with others in the council chamber. Finally, he nodded curtly. 15 minutes. Captain. Not 1 second more. As the transmission ended, Santos reported urgently. Captain, the alien fleet is moving. They're forming a new configuration. On the screen, the massive vessels shifted with impossible grace, realigning themselves into a complex three-dimensional pattern. At the center of this formation, a smaller object began to materialize, a sphere approximately 100 meters in diameter, glowing with soft blue-green light. What is that? Elena asked. Rajiv was studying the sensor readings intently. Energy signatures, unlike anything in our database. It appears to be generating something, or perhaps receiving. A weapon? Elena asked, her mouth suddenly dry. Unknown, but the mathematical patterns we've been exchanging are being projected across its surface. Rajiv looked up, his eyes wide. Captain, I think it's some kind of communication device, or translator. Elena made her decision. Take us closer. Captain, Santos objected. The Prometheus platform will be in firing position in less than 10 minutes. Then we have 9 minutes to prevent a catastrophe. Proceed, Lieutenant. As the Demeter approached the glowing sphere, the small alien vessel that had been escorting them moved ahead, positioning itself between them and the device. The creature in the viewport made a sweeping gesture with one of its upper limbs. I think they're inviting us closer, Rajiv said. Elena nodded. Continue approach. 1/4 impulse. Maintain open broadcast of our mathematical response sequences. The sphere grew larger on their screens. Now they could see that its surface was not solid, but composed of countless tiny particles in constant motion, forming and reforming the mathematical symbols they had been exchanging. As they watched, the symbols began to transform, becoming more complex, more structured. They're evolving the communication, Rajiv breathed. The patterns are starting to resemble linguistic structures, syntax, grammar. How long until we can understand them? Hours, maybe days, Rajiv began, then stopped abruptly as new information flowed across his screen. Wait, they're accelerating the process. The sphere is adapting to our language patterns exponentially faster than should be possible. Captain, Park interrupted. We're receiving a new transmission. It's in English. The bridge fell silent as a voice emerged from the speakers, smooth and fluid, yet with subtle harmonics that marked it as definitively non-human. We observe, we learn, we communicate, purpose, understanding. Elena exchanged a glance with Rajiv before responding. This is Captain Elena Marlowe of Earth Vessel Demeter. We welcome communication. What is your purpose here? A pause. Then, purpose, evaluation. Query, why aggression preparations? We have shown no hostility. Some humans fear what they don't understand. Elena replied carefully. We are trying to prevent conflict. Can you tell us who you are and why you've come to our system? Another pause. Longer this time. We are travelers. We seek civilizations approaching threshold. Earth, potential candidate. Threshold of what? Rajiv asked, unable to contain himself. Galactic community. Technological transcendence. Many terms in your languages approximate concept. Elena felt a chill run through her. You're saying Earth is being evaluated for membership in some kind of interstellar civilization? Affirmative. Process requires demonstration of species characteristics, understanding, restraint, wisdom. The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. They weren't just visitors, they were examiners, and humanity was failing the test spectacularly. Captain, Santos warned, Prometheus platform has achieved firing position. We have less than 3 minutes. Elena opened a channel to Coalition headquarters. Security Council. This is Captain Marlowe. We have established direct communication with the alien fleet. They identify themselves as travelers and state they are here to evaluate Earth for contact with a wider galactic community. I strongly urge you to abort the Prometheus deployment immediately. Chair Santiago's face appeared on screen, his expression grave. We're receiving your transmission, Captain, but the situation has deteriorated. The Chinese fleet has launched fighters. We've lost control of the situation. Elena made a decision that would alter the course of human history. Dr. Patel, transmit everything we've learned about the Prometheus platform to the travelers. Explain that it's about to fire and that we cannot stop it. Ask if they can help us prevent this. Rajiv worked frantically at his console. After a moment, the alien voice responded. Understood. Projectile weapons approaching. Request. Demonstrate your choice. Elena frowned. I don't understand. What choice? Species character revealed by actions, not words. Your weapons approach. Show true nature of humanity. The implications were clear. The travelers weren't going to stop the attack. This was part of their test. How would humanity respond when facing the unknown? Captain, Santos reported, Prometheus has launched. Multiple projectiles detected, on course for the alien fleet. Impact in 70 seconds. Elena looked at the glowing sphere on the screen, then at the alien escort vessels still positioned protectively nearby. The choice was suddenly crystalline in its clarity. Weapons Officer Chen, target the nearest Prometheus missile with our point defense system. The bridge fell silent. "Captain," Chen said carefully, "firing on coalition weapons would be considered treason under Article 7 of the—" "I'm aware of the consequences. Officer, target the missile." Chen hesitated, then nodded. "Target acquired? Fire!" A single pulse of energy erupted from the Demeter, streaking across space to intercept the leading Prometheus missile. The shot connected, detonating the missile safely distant from both human and alien vessels. The explosion briefly illuminated the darkness, a small artificial star burning out almost as quickly as it had formed. "Transmission from the travelers," Park announced, her voice shaking slightly. "One choice made," came the alien voice. "Significant. Insufficient alone." On their screens, the remaining Prometheus missiles continued their approach. 5 more deadly projectiles, each capable of devastating damage. Elena had made her statement, but it wouldn't be enough to stop the attack. "There's nothing more we can do," Santos said quietly. Rajiv stepped forward. "Captain, may I transmit a message to the travelers?" Elena nodded. "Travelers," Rajiv spoke clearly. "Humanity is young and frightened, but not all of us choose violence. Some of us dedicate our lives to understanding, to building bridges between different worlds. Please, if you can hear me, don't judge our entire species by the actions of a few." For several long seconds, there was no response. Then, the glowing sphere at the center of the alien fleet pulsed once, twice, 3 times, each flash brighter than the last. From its surface, tendrils of blue-green energy extended outward, forming a web-like pattern that expanded rapidly. "Energy surge detected," Nazari reported. "It's interfacing with the Prometheus missiles somehow." On the screen, they watched as the deadly projectiles slowed, then stopped completely, suspended in space as if frozen in time. The energy web from the sphere enveloped them gently, and then, in a final flash of light, the missiles simply ceased to exist, not exploding, but seemingly transformed into the same energy that had captured them. "Remarkable," whispered Rajiv. "They converted the matter directly to energy and absorbed it." The alien voice returned, now somehow warmer than before. "2 choices observed. One vessel fires to prevent harm, one voice speaks for understanding. These choices interest us." Elena found her voice. "Those choices represent the best of humanity. Please understand, we are capable of both great violence and great compassion. We're still learning which path to follow. This is why we observe. This is why we test. Query, will you speak for humanity?" "Captain Elena Marlowe." Elena felt the weight of the question. "I can't speak for all of humanity. We are many voices, many perspectives." "This answer demonstrates wisdom," the alien voice replied. "Acceptable for preliminary contact." The glowing sphere pulsed again, and a new series of symbols appeared on its surface, not mathematical this time, but complex geometric patterns interwoven with what appeared to be star maps. "Galactic community coordinates," the voice explained. "First step of many. Learning begins now, if accepted." Elena looked to Rajiv, who nodded almost imperceptibly. "We accept this opportunity to learn," she replied. The smaller alien vessel that had escorted them moved closer, and the being in the viewport made a complex gesture with its limbs. Somehow, Elena understood this as an invitation. "Captain," Santos said urgently, "we're receiving multiple hails from Earth. The Security Council, General Volkov, Director Nakamura, everyone's demanding explanations." Elena took a deep breath. Tell them first contact has been established, and I'm proceeding with diplomatic engagement. Advise them that any further aggressive actions will jeopardize humanity's first steps into a much larger universe." She turned to Rajiv. "Dr. Patel, care to make history with me?" A slow smile spread across his face. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, Captain." As preparations began for the first formal meeting between human and traveler representatives, Elena found herself alone in her quarters, staring at a small holographic image of Earth floating above her desk. So small, so fragile, and now suddenly part of something so much vaster than humanity had ever imagined. Her comm device activated with a private channel signal. The face of her brother, Michael, appeared, stationed on the International Lunar Colony, his features drawn with concern. "Elena, what the hell is happening? We're getting conflicting reports. Some say you've defected to the aliens, others that you've saved Earth from destruction." "Despite everything," she laughed, "neither is entirely accurate. Michael, I fired one shot today, not to destroy, but to prevent destruction. And somehow, that made all the difference. The alien fleet, they're really communicating. They call themselves travelers. And yes, we're communicating. They've invited representatives aboard their vessel. I'm going, along with Dr. Patel." Michael's expression grew serious. "Is that safe?" "Probably not," Elena admitted. "But if they wanted us dead, we would be already. They have technology that makes our most advanced weapons look like stone axes." "Then why are they here? What do they want?" Elena considered how to explain. "They're evaluating us, Michael, for potential membership in something bigger, a galactic community of intelligent species. They appeared suddenly, without warning, to see how we would react to the unknown." "And how did we do?" Elena sighed. "Terribly, at first. We nearly started an interstellar war out of fear. But then something changed. One shot fired in defense rather than aggression. One voice speaking for understanding rather than fear." "Your shot? Patel's voice?" "Yes. But we're not special. Michael, we just happened to be in the right place at the right time, making the choices that countless humans would have made in our position. That's what I need everyone back home to understand. The travelers aren't interested in dealing with just one person or one nation. They want to know if humanity as a species is ready to join something greater than ourselves." "And are we?" Michael asked quietly. Elena looked again at the holographic Earth spinning slowly above her desk. "I don't know, but we've been given a chance to find out. And that's more than I dared hope for when they first appeared." The soft chime of her door interrupted them. Lieutenant Santos stood in the corridor. "Captain, the traveler vessel is ready to receive you and Dr. Patel." Elena nodded. "I have to go. Michael, tell Mom I'll call when I can. Be careful, Elena, and make us proud out there." She ended the transmission and followed Santos to the shuttle bay, where Rajiv waited beside the small craft that would transport them to the traveler vessel. He had changed from his rumpled Science Division uniform into formal diplomatic attire, though his perpetually disheveled hair still refused to cooperate. "Nervous, Doctor?" Elena asked, echoing their earlier conversation. "Beyond description," he replied with a small smile. "You?" "Terrified," she admitted, "but for the first time since they appeared. I'm also hopeful." They boarded the shuttle in silence, each lost in their own thoughts as the small craft departed the Demeter and approached the waiting traveler vessel. Through the viewport, Elena could see the alien ship's hull rippling, forming an opening to receive them. "Whatever happens next," Rajiv said quietly, "nothing will ever be the same." Elena nodded. Humanity's greatest journey is about to begin. As their shuttle passed through the opening, they found themselves in a vast chamber unlike anything human architecture had ever conceived. Organic curves blending seamlessly with precise geometric structures, all suffused with the same soft blue-green light that had emanated from the communication sphere. Waiting for them was the being they had seen earlier, now accompanied by two others of similar appearance. As Elena and Rajiv stepped from the shuttle, the central figure made a complex gesture with its limbs. "Welcome," came a voice that seemed to emanate not from the beings themselves, but from the chamber around them. I am Karl Vren, emissary of the Travelers. You have taken your first step into a larger universe. Elena stepped forward. On behalf of Earth, we are honored by this opportunity. I am Captain Elena Marlowe, and this is Dr. Rajiv Patel. The alien, Karl Vren, moved closer, its iridescent skin shifting through patterns of blue and green. You fired one shot today, Captain Marlowe. Not to destroy, but to protect. This choice interests us greatly. It was the only choice I could make in good conscience. Elena replied. And you, Dr. Patel? Karl Vren continued, turning toward Rajiv. You spoke of understanding when others spoke of fear. Why? Rajiv considered his words carefully. Because fear is a reaction, but understanding is a choice. Throughout human history, our greatest achievements have come when we chose to understand rather than to fear the unknown. Karl Vren made a gesture that somehow conveyed approval. Your species stands at a threshold. For millennia, you have looked to the stars and wondered if you were alone. You are not. The galaxy teems with intelligence, with civilizations both younger and far older than your own. Some have walked among the stars for millions of your years. Why have we never detected them? Rajiv asked. The truly advanced do not wish to be found until a species is ready. Karl Vren explained. To influence development prematurely is to risk stunting potential. Each civilization must find its own path to the threshold. And now humanity has reached this threshold? Elena asked. You approach it, Karl Vren corrected. Today was one test of many. Your response was mixed. Some chose fear and aggression. Others, like yourselves, chose differently. What happens now? Elena asked. Now we begin the true dialogue. We will share knowledge, carefully, gradually. Not all technologies, not all at once. Your species must grow into each new understanding, integrating it with your unique perspective. And if we fail? Rajiv asked quietly. If fear ultimately guides our response? Karl Vren was silent for a moment. Then you will remain quarantined within your solar system until you are ready. The choice belongs to humanity alone. As they spoke, images began to form in the air around them, star systems, planets, strange structures that defied easy categorization. Elena realized they were being shown glimpses of the galactic community they might one day join. This is overwhelming, she admitted. Yes, agreed Karl Vren. For any species, first contact is a profound shock. It challenges fundamental assumptions about one's place in the universe. Some respond with fear, others with wonder. The wisest approach with both caution and openness. Like firing one shot to prevent many, Rajiv observed. Precisely, Dr. Patel. Small actions can reveal profound truths about a species' character. Karl Vren made another complex gesture. We will remain in your system for one orbital period of your world. During this time, we will establish protocols for ongoing communication and exchange initial knowledge packages. When we depart, we will leave behind a beacon, a means for you to contact the greater community when questions arise. And what do you expect in return? Elena asked. Your perspective, Karl Vren replied simply. Each intelligent species perceives the universe uniquely. Your art, your philosophy, your understanding of existence. These are your greatest contributions. Technology can be shared, but perspective must be earned through evolution and experience. Elena looked at Rajiv, seeing her own wonder reflected in his expression. We have so much to learn, she said. As do we. Karl Vren responded. That is the nature of intelligence throughout the cosmos, an endless journey of discovery. Today, humanity has taken its first step beyond your cradle. What comes next depends on the choices you make, collectively, in the days and years ahead. As their initial meeting concluded, Elena and Rajiv returned to the Demeter with preliminary communication protocols and a message of introduction to be shared with Earth's leaders. The reaction from home was predictably chaotic: fear and excitement, skepticism and wonder, all competing for dominance in humanity's collective response. Over the days that followed, diplomatic teams from Earth's nations arrived to establish formal relations with the travelers. Scientific exchanges began, carefully moderated to prevent technological shock. Cultural artifacts were shared, human music and art eliciting fascinating responses from the travelers, while alien concepts challenged human philosophers and artists to expand their understanding of consciousness itself. Through it all, Elena found herself repeatedly returning to conversations with Karl Vren, whose enigmatic wisdom both frustrated and enlightened her. "You still fear we will judge humanity harshly," the traveler observed during one such exchange, 3 weeks after first contact. Elena didn't bother denying it. "We're a young species, prone to violence and short-sighted thinking. We've nearly destroyed ourselves several times in our brief history. This is not unique to humans," Karl Vren assured her. "The path to intelligence is arduous for all species. Those who survive their own destructive potential are stronger for the experience. And those who don't become cautionary memories in the archives of the cosmos." Elena considered this. "When your fleet first appeared, we assumed the worst. We prepared for war rather than greeting. Fear is natural. Wisdom lies in moving beyond it." Karl Vren's skin rippled with patterns that Elena had come to recognize as thoughtfulness. "Consider, when faced with the unknown, your instinct was protection. This speaks well of your potential. One shot doesn't erase millennia of human violence," Elena countered. "No, but it suggests hope for your future." Karl Vren gestured toward a viewing portal where Earth hung like a jewel against the blackness. "In a universe vast beyond imagining, will humanity choose to be the spark of destruction or the light of understanding? This question remains unanswered, but today, in this moment, you have chosen light. On the final day of the traveler's stay in Earth's system, Elena stood with Rajiv on the observation deck of the Demeter, watching as the alien fleet prepared for departure. The communication sphere they had deployed now orbited Earth permanently, a beacon and embassy to the wider galaxy. "Do you think we're ready?" Rajiv asked quietly. "No," Elena replied honestly. "But I don't think anyone ever is. That's the point of growth, facing challenges we're not quite prepared for and rising to meet them. Some on Earth are already calling for weaponizing the knowledge we've gained," Rajiv said, his expression troubled. "Old fears die hard. And others are creating new forms of art inspired by traveler concepts or developing philosophies that incorporate cosmic perspective." Elena countered. "That's humanity, always divided, always pulling in multiple directions at once." Rajiv smiled slightly. "Perhaps that's our contribution to the galactic community, the chaotic energy of a species that can never quite agree on anything." Karl Vren suggested something similar. "Apparently, most advanced species develop strong consensus cultures. Our fractious nature actually intrigues them, as long as we don't destroy ourselves with it." "There's that," Elena agreed. They watched in silence as the traveler vessels began to shimmer, the strange effect that preceded their transition to wherever they went when they weren't here. Dimensions beyond human comprehension. Karl Vren had explained. Though the concepts required mathematical frameworks humanity had yet to develop. "One shot," Rajiv mused. "One moment of choice that changed everything." "It wasn't just my shot," Elena reminded him. "It was your words, too. And 1,000 other choices made by people throughout human history that brought us to this point." As the alien fleet began to fade from normal space, Elena's comm device activated. Karl Vren's voice came through with perfect clarity. One final message. "Remember this day, Captain Marlowe, not as the day travelers came to Earth, But as the day humanity began its journey to the stars, the path will not be easy. You will face challenges both external and internal, but you have demonstrated the capacity for wisdom, for choosing understanding over fear. Nurture this capacity. It is your greatest strength. The fleet vanished completely, leaving only the stars and the communication sphere as evidence they had ever been there at all. "What now?" Rajiv asked. Eleanor looked toward Earth, then back to the stars beyond. "Now we take the next step, and the next, and we try not to stumble too badly along the way." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, countless civilizations continued their own journeys. And now, finally, humanity had been invited to join them. In a universe vast beyond imagining, they had chosen to be the light of understanding, and that had made all the difference.